Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, about 9 minutes away from 8 o'clock. Queens of the Stone Age tickets. Yes, the show happened last weekend in Northern Ireland. This is a special show announced yesterday here on Q101 at the Chicago Theater. Unique. Only a few theater shows in the country. We got one, and we'll get those tickets to you at 8 o'clock. But first, I told you might be doing something illegal before that Cranberry song, and I had to make you wait, I guess, because it upset Wade, checking in from 773, saying, "Thanks for making us wait till I'll find out if we're breaking the law." He says, "It's not texting while you drive, I hope, LOL," which, by the way,
I think that's already illegal.
That's already on the board.
Okay.
That's already illegal in Illinois. It's illegal to operate a vehicle while using a handheld electronic device or text or read messages even. All that stuff. That means if you have a switch in your hand, you can't do that either.
Were you reading that off something, or did you just nail the verbiage of it?
Listen, if I'm anything, I'm legal in this state.
If I'm anything, I'm legal.
Except for breaking all the laws and the speed cameras and getting about $1,000 in tickets.
You have more tickets than any of us.
It's very fair. It's very fair. No, this is a new law going into effect, and I'll let WGN tell us what's going on if you live in a couple suburbs right now, but it will probably spread to the entire area. It starts in Elk Grove Village.
The Elk Grove Board of Trustees passed an ordinance on Wednesday evening regulating e-bike and e-scooter usage around the village. Under the new law, which goes into effect on July 1st, you must have a driver's license to ride them on the street. In other words, you have to be at least 16 years old.
If you own an e-bike, you can only use it on the street, and you have to have a valid driver's license to use it. If you have an electric scooter, you can use that either on the sidewalk or the street. But if you use it on the street, you have to also have a valid driver's license.
Now look, before we continue, I think all of us have strong opinions on this, and we might all agree for a change. All three of us might agree on this. But that guy does sound like a get off my lawn guy.
If he was a corrupt mayor, it would not surprise me.
I mean, he sounds like he's going to stop all the fun.
Yeah, he's got some rules.
Yeah.
But if you use it on the street, you have to also have a valid driver's license.
Mayor Craig Johnson says the new rules are to keep people safe after residents raise safety concerns.
There's a number of times I almost hit somebody because they're riding alongside me and all of a sudden they decide to go across the street. They don't stop, they don't look, they just take off.
And that sounds like a Karen. But again, we have strong opinions about this afterward.
Those who violate the rules will face a fine. They'll receive a $50 ticket for the first offense and a $100 ticket for the second offense. Woo! And the fines only double from there. Reporting in Elk Grove, Emmy Victor, WGN News.
Wait, they double from there?
They're like, we stand 10 toes down in our decision. So
Good Lord. So that's Elk Grove Village. And Schaumburg, according to the Daily Herald, is doing the same thing. 16 years old, which means you have to have a driver's license, and there's a helmet. You must wear a helmet and use vehicle lights at night, prohibiting their operation on sidewalks as well. That's what Schaumburg said in the Daily Herald, what the mayor there said. So that's Tom Daly from Schaumburg. That was the mayor of Elk Grove Village. And I can say that I agree with this. I am part of the get off of my lawn crew on this one because I swear, and I've said this before in a conspiracy theory that I have, that people are dying on these scooters every day, and the city is quelling those numbers. They're squashing them. Because there's no way, when I see people riding these scooters, that they're not dying a minute after I see them the way they're riding these scooters.
Is that because they're underneath your car?
yeah.
I'm not trying.
When I went over that speed bump, boy, did it feel like a person.
I'm trying not to hit people that are going through the stop signs, going through the red lights, riding in front of me, and there's like 7 people on one scooter at a time, too. And I was a kid once, believe it or not, back in the day.
Oh, boy.
And I would have probably had a blast on these scooters. But I don't want people to die, and no one is paying attention. No, I saw a kid texting while he was riding a scooter.
And well, the problem is that people are forgetting, like, these go fast. They're not going like a mile or 2 an hour. Like, they go, some of them go over 30 miles an hour, and they're doing it, no helmets, no anything. And it's like, if you saw somebody on like a dirt bike going over 30 miles an hour, you'd be like, oh, they should be wearing a helmet. They're a kid. But for some reason, because it's in scooter form, nobody feels that way. I don't know why. And there was a kid in my neighborhood who hit a rock on the sidewalk, on one, flipped, and he ended up in the hospital for a while.
Wow.
Because he smashed his head into the concrete at 35 miles an hour. Like, it is like, this isn't like, I'm not annoyed by scooters, but I'm like, yeah, I would not let, like, Tristan wants one so bad. And I go, nope. Like, I have literally watched you run into a wall in our house because you're not looking up. And I'm not, like,
how do you explain that hole in the dining room wall when people come over for dinner?
I mean, I've literally seen him hit a wall because he's looking, like, at his watch and stuff like that. So I'm like, iPad. And I'm like, no, I'm not giving you a scooter that goes 35 miles an hour. Like, I just don't think that the frontal lobe is not there yet to be like, oh, I'm headed to a street. Let me look. And I see kids all the time zoom out in front of cars and stuff because and I get it, like, they're kids. They're not thinking like that yet, but, like, you're on a vehicle that's dangerous enough for that to happen,
We're going to check in from Iona. 773 says, my daughter works at a hospital, and she sees at least 2 per day of someone who was hit on a scooter. That goes to my theory that there's a lot more going on. And listen, the companies that came in, it's Lime and what's the other one, Bird?
Bird's one. I think maybe Lyft has one now.
Yeah. I think you can get on Lyft and look for a scooter, too. And I guess this includes the personal scooters that are the same size. You can't ride those the same way, not just the rental ones, the electric ones. The e-bikes, too, this qualifies for, like Divvy bikes. The same laws for that, too.
They go fast. I mean, it's not, like, I totally get it. It is a motor vehicle, and, like, I just think that it's better to be older. And I'm not saying that all of a sudden you're 16, you're going to be responsible. I'm not saying that, unfortunately, but I totally get it. I've seen kids in my own neighborhood end up in the hospital, like, and not for a scratch, like big, like, head concussion things.
If something has torque or horsepower, there should be some level of requirement to drive them. And 224 on the text line brings up the point that I was going to, because you guys are, you guys own cars like the majority of humans do, so you guys can speak from that perspective.
Case doesn't own a car, just letting you know.
Not a big car guy, but I can speak to this as a pedestrian, somebody that loves taking walks in my urban environment, walking, all throughout the city of Chicago. 224 checked in and said, I'm concerned that all these kids on scooters on the sidewalk are going to kill someone on the sidewalk. This is my big concern right now, because I put in my headphones, I turn on the Q101 app, the noise-canceling device on my headphones turns on. I wouldn't be able to hear a bomb if it went off behind me. And these kids are ripping 35 miles an hour down the sidewalk. My ACL is going to go away because some 8-year-old is going to hit me on a Lime scooter. I know that's going to be the fate of my summer.
You're not using your ACL.
That's the thing, is I would just fully morph into Jabba the Hutt at that point. But I know that at some point, my ACL is going to go away because a kid on a Lime scooter is going to hit me.
And then your career's over. Then your basketball career is over.
Me and Tyrese Halliburton won the same.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's funny you say this case because I was on a walk with Marino. He's 16 months old, had the stroller out, right? And I'm on a walk, and 2 kids went by me, definitely on like the 30 mile an hour scooters or whatever. And they come up on you fast because they're going 30 miles an hour, okay? And had I just literally moved my arm out like an inch, they would have taken it off. Like, they said nothing. They went that far past me. Had I turned the stroller or done anything. And again, I don't think these are like badass little kids. What's wrong with you? Like, they were like scooting over. They're just not thinking like that because they're kids. They're not thinking, well, what if she turned really fast? I should say something because they're kids. So I wasn't mad at them, but I'm like, wow, I'm really happy I didn't turn right then because that would have been horrible. I probably would have had to bring Marino to the hospital if a scooter flipped over him, I'd imagine. So it wasn't good.
We got those Queens of the Stone Age tickets in just about a minute, so hang tight. But got a first-time texter check in here. Appreciate this. Says, I live in the suburbs around Elk Grove Village in Schaumburg, where this new law came into effect, where you got to be 16 to ride the scooter, wear a helmet, because you ought to be 16 to have a driver's license, and you can't ride on the sidewalk, so you got to obey the laws of a motor vehicle. She says, just to clarify, these e-bikes they're talking about are not being driven by adults. It's the 9 or 10-year-olds on major roads.
Right.
I feel the vibes of Chicago e-bikes and suburban e-bikes are different. We're not talking about adults. I'm talking about that, though.
Yeah.
There are adults, and trust me, I'm not sure this 16-year-old thing's going to work because I see 40-years riding these scooters.
That's what I said. Like, adults are still super responsible.
They've got a traveler in their hand at a high noon there, coming back from the Cubs game, and I'm like, they're gonna die probably easier than a kid.
I was just about to say, the most dangerous vehicle in the world is when 2 drunk women hop on the same Lime scooter leaving a concert at Soldier Field together.
Yep.
That's like a tank driving through the city.
So the real answer here is, boy, I don't know if I should say this. We got to just get rid of scooters altogether.
Well, I think
I don't trust kids. I don't trust adults. I don't trust anybody on them. Is there any? Am I wrong on that? I'm sorry for the companies that are trying to make some money on this. I like business. I'm for business.
Big Scooter?
Big Scooter.
I think we got to take Big Scooter down.
Yeah.
No, they're good for they are good for commuters and stuff. I just think that people think they're on a scooter. So they're like, oh, it's fine. It's super chill. It's little and it won't hurt anybody. You need to realize oh, I'm driving a motorized vehicle. I just think our perception needs to shift. The problem is people think it's a chill scooter. And I'm like, you're going 35 on a sidewalk. You're going to take somebody out.
Here we go. Now we're getting the real get off my lawn people. 630 checked in and said, kids shouldn't be on motorized devices. They should be out there getting exercise. These are my people now coming out.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We just gave away the Queens of the Stone Age tickets, and we'll have them every day at this time at 8 o'clock for this special show at the Chicago Theater. Thursday, October 2nd. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. But, you're going to be there in this special event that's been described as a one-night-only evening of curated selection of the songs done different ways. And they're encouraging people to dress appropriately, meaning dress as good as the music will sound. And it was described in a very medieval type of way. And Kenzie, being a medieval type of girl, she'll be dressing as a wizard at the show. And she thinks she's being punked, that no one else will dress fun. And then she's going to be as a wizard and no one else will be there.
If I show up and I'm the only wizard, I'm going to be a real bitch about it.
Something tells me if you just showed up normally, you'd be a bitch about it.
Shut up.
All right, more texts. We're talking about the scooter laws in Elk Grove Village in Schaumburg, where you have to now be 16 or older, wear a helmet, proof of driver's license, and you can't ride on sidewalks. We're all for this. All three of us, for some reason, agreement for a change because we see the effects of this, and somebody's going to die. I mean, kids are getting hurt. We have listeners checking in that work at emergency rooms, and they say there's 2 a day, people coming in there injured. Aurora George checked in and said, big scooter. They're only in it for the money.
Jonas, son of a bitch.
Who is that, honey?
Jonas Miller, he's a night crawler. We all start out in the same lab, and Jonas went out and got himself some corporate sponsors. He's in it for the money, not the science.
Yeah. Anything else on the text line, Kenzie? People checking in. A lot of people are agreeing with us that, this is getting out of hand.
No, it is. I mean, we have a lot of people who are checking in because they went to the hospital, which is insane. Chauncey texted in and said he actually had one of these way earlier on when he was a kid, and his only went 20 miles an hour. And he has a huge scar from when he face planted and flipped off, to this day as an adult. He's like, I really wish that I wasn't driving one. That's crazy.
Scars are pretty cool, though.
Oh, my God, absolutely.
You just can't say it's from a scooter.
It was my Harley.
There was a bank robbery going on. I stopped all 7 assailants. And, they stabbed me at a scar here. We have a check-in from Berwyn. Melissa says, tax the scooters. We did talk about all the taxes starting July 1st. Is there a scooter tax?
What would they...
How would you tax it? You just buy it.
Well, I mean, the kids, I shouldn't say just kids, adults, anybody using it, is there an extra tax to use a scooter?
To rent them or what? Oh,
yeah, the rent
rental
ones.
There is a flat rate of $25 for purchases of motorcycles and all-terrain vehicles and $15 for purchases for certain family members that I would assume that is what they're talking about there, where there's an additional $25 tax if you're buying an ATV or a scooter.
Wow.
Yes, I know.
Maybe we should, just like the other guy, just ride bikes and get exercise.
Well, 219 checked in and they said when you buy a scooter, you should be required to take a class so that you learn the safety and the rules. Brian, you've been talking about off-air looking for a side hustle, something a little walking around money. Would you be willing to teach a scooter safety class in your limited free time?
How much would it pay?
Probably not a lot. But if you want to make a difference, be the change you want to see in the world, I think you have to teach the kids younger than me, Gen Alpha, I think you have to teach them how to ride scooters.
Yeah, but then the scooters will stay. I want them to go. I want them to go.
Wow.
I want them out of here.
You're really coming for Big Scooter's throat.
He does anything he doesn't use, he's okay with.
No one's using these.
Yeah.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Time for music and entertainment news. We gave away tickets for Queens of the Stone Age at 8 o'clock. We'll do it again tomorrow and the rest of the week. And you're going, wait a minute, they were just here. How are you giving away tickets? Well, they played Northern Ireland over the weekend to a phenomenal show and phenomenal crowd. You were there, you know. But this is even more special. Queens of the Stone Age, the Catacombs Tour at the Chicago Theater, Thursday, October 2nd. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. And we'll have tickets all week from our great friends Live Nation and Brian and Kenzie to you, experiencing this that only a few will get to because there's only about 10 shows in the country. One of the greatest rooms in the world is the Chicago Theater. And this is something that I've seen Queens of the Stone Age probably 10 times. And this sounds like something magical and something
new.
Something like, medieval in a way. Here's how they describe it. Here's how they describe what's going to happen there. Prepare to discover heretofore unknown dimensions of Queens of the Stone Age this fall at the Catacombs Tour. A limited series of very special one-night evenings at a curated selection of North America's most historic theaters. That being the Chicago Theater. Composed of all-new arrangements crafted specifically for the occasion. The Catacombs Tour will see Queens of the Stone Age draw upon the spirit of those sublime subterranean renditions and I'm getting a bane now, I better pull back. And infuse it into reimagined versions that promise to twist the volume knob in both directions. So they're going to redo the songs and rearrange them in a fantastic way that you've never heard before.
Are they taking a little bit of what like the Smashing Pumpkins are doing with the opera show? Like a little bit?
Possibly. There's no information. There does say there will be, I'll get back to the voice. Enhanced by assembled ensembles. The end result will be a precious few unique and intimate performances unlike anything you've ever seen from Queens of the Stone Age. So I guess that means a violinist will be up there, Kenzie. I guess that might mean a tuba player.
Oh, tuba would be fun.
Tuba and a Queen song.
Doing the No One Knows riff.
Boom, 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 boom. Now, Kenzie,
well, that's it. You don't even need to buy a ticket now.
Kenzie, this is for you. Appropriate dress is encouraged. You'll want to look as good as the music is going to sound on this very special evening in theater.
Well, that's like looking good varies for so many people, though. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, you should say the dress code. Don't say just looking good. Like, you could look good in a swimsuit. Do you know what I mean? Like, you need to say, like, black tie encouraged. Like, something like that.
Well, thank you for saying that. I look good in a swimsuit.
I was talking to you.
Oh.
It was more of a generalized statement.
Oh, you meaning the audience?
Yes.
Oh.
You in your car. Not you, Brian. Right here.
Well, that's unfortunate. You know what? Maybe I'll set a goal. Let's see.
To what? Wear a swimsuit to the Queens of the Stone Age concert?
Thursday, October 2nd. Can I get beach body ready for Queens of the Stone Age in, let's see, how many months?
3.5.
June, so July, August, September, October. Yeah,
3.5. Like I said, yes. I wasn't questioning myself.
I've won the weight loss competition 2 years in a row.
Uh-huh.
Can I say something because we're talking about that?
Yeah.
I officially yesterday hit my overall weight loss goal so I'm 130 pounds now. I continued my weight loss. I was very excited when I weighed in yesterday. Sorry.
You can be excited about something. It's very nice. It's nice to hear that. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so excited. So I kept up with the weight loss challenge.
What are you trying to say?
I just said we were talking about the weight loss challenge.
I know, there was a little tone there. Like, I kept up with it. Like, there was an
You could have kept up with it. Did you keep up with it? Okay. Well, I think you took it personally because of what you knew about yourself.
Well, I'm still in a good range. I'm only...
What does that mean?
I'm 6 pounds heavier than my winning weight.
So you wait.
So I was 228.5 when I won the weight loss challenge.
Okay.
I'm about 235 now. I'm about 6-7 pounds heavier.
So you gained 7 pounds and you're like, I'm at a great range?
Because I lost almost 20 originally. Now I've lost...
Oh, we're going to still say that you're losing weight? We're going to word it like that?
I'm trying to do girl math on this thing. I'm winning. Tiger blood, baby.
What's your overall goal weight? Because in the weight loss challenge, we were saying, what do we think we could do? Like, we had a different goal overall versus what we could do in the 4-week challenge or whatever we had.
220 would be fantastic.
You want to be 220. So you want to lose. So how much are you now?
235.
Oh, my God.
234 maybe on a good day.
So you want to lose like 15 pounds.
14 or 15. By October 2nd, so I can wear a mankini to the Queens of the Stone Age show.
I would love to see you actually try on your weight loss long enough to hit your goal instead of trying for 3 weeks and then binging after that until the next year.
This is a championship mindset. I'm going to win no matter what. If I starve myself for the last day, I'm going to win.
That's an eating disorder mindset.
It's worked 2 years in a row. It's worked. So October 2nd, I will have a beach body, and Kenzie will be dressed like a wizard because it's a medieval vibe, kind of the way they're describing it. A little Harry Potterish, and Kenzie's our girl for that. So
I'm the wizard.
Kenzie's gonna be she's afraid she's being punked, and she'll be everybody else will be like in jeans and t-shirts,
Well,
and she's dressed like
Brian
a wizard.
does this sometimes. He just reads things in a voice and then tells me it's medieval, and I get excited and I show up and it's not.
Kenzie's going to be all stressed out. She's like, I have to get my cloak from the dry cleaners before I head down to the Chicago Theater.
Because we have the Bristol Renaissance Fair coming up, and I'm already working on my outfit.
Oh,
It's like I
boy.
get all excited about this. You know that.
Cannot wait for the Bristol Renaissance. You know this, man.
You know that, and you use it against me, and you can be all excited that I show up, and it isn't wizardy or Renaissance-y at all.
I can't wait for the Bristol Renaissance Fair and for the Queens of the Stone Age Renaissance Fair at the Chicago Theater. It's going to be outstanding. And we'll have more tickets tomorrow, 8 o'clock for that show where the tickets go on sale Friday.
And that's just caller 10. There's no song scramble. There's no game. You don't have to know anything. You just have to know how to dial our phone number, 312-591-8300. That's how you get those tickets.
Now, you've been waiting for it, and it happens tomorrow right here, Super Chicago. I've seen them filming near my neighborhood left and right the last 6 months. All 10 episodes of Season 4 of The Bear will be available tomorrow on Hulu. It all drops.
Oh, snap. I forgot it was tomorrow.
I know. It came up pretty quick, huh?
Hey.
So here is a little teaser for you for The Bear Season 4. Here's the trailer.
These are the bears.
There's probably one really true thing about restaurants. You are never alone.
I don't want to hide from things. This place is fancy. I'm not fancy. They're beautiful.
Sometimes I feel like your work family is part of your family. If you're lucky.
Wow, fantastic. I finished it, actually. I finished Bear Season 3 to get ready for this week.
I haven't seen it in a while. Whose baby was that?
That's the sister's baby.
Oh, I'm like, what was a baby?
Oh, baby.
Oh, that's right. I thought he had a baby. I'm like, whoa, they're coming out swinging. He didn't know any kid first episode.
I don't know if you do this when this kind of thing happens. Do you watch the last episode of the last season before a new season drops just to get yourself back on? Because there is so much time between now and you watch so much in between. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Can I give you some advice?
Yes.
If you want to be caught up on The Bear for the new season, I would watch the last episode of the second season instead of the third because they resolved nothing during the third season. So if I were you, that would be the last episode to watch to be caught up on what they hopefully do in the new season.
On Rotten Tomatoes, 89% of 101 critics gave the third season a positive review with an average rating of 7.9 out of 10. The website's critics' consensus states, having set an exceedingly high standard of excellence for itself, The Bear spends its third season simmering, stewing, and giving off an aroma that whets the appetite. A very creative way to say that. And there's some good episodes, but I agree there was some times when you're like, something's brewing. It's building, it's building. And that's why this is incredible, because season 3 ended with a cliffhanger, what appeared to be in the Chicago Tribune's review of the newly opened restaurant, where Carmi seems to react poorly to it. This is the way to get you ready for tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, shocker. He reacted poorly to
I was
something.
gonna say, in fairness, he reacts poorly to everything, so no spoiler there.
I like that guy.
Well, you see, a bad review could endanger the funding provided by Cicero. And Sydney is also deciding between becoming Carmi's partner in the restaurant or leaving for a new opportunity at a proven kitchen. So in the season 4 trailer, Carmi seems to realize that he needs to adjust his attitude if he wants to keep his staff members happy. That should be interesting. In season 4, is that possible?
You walk in and he's like, all jokey, like totally new character. Hey, you guys.
It's like he's working at Fridays. Where's your flair? Where's your flair for your shirt?
We're going a different direction.
All 10 episodes of season 4 of The Bear. And if you come downtown at any point in the last 6 months, you've seen them filming right outside of Q101, right up by the music box. There was a long setup up there. Cannot wait tomorrow, June 25th. It'll all be on Hulu.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Lauren on her way in to take you through the rest of this glorious hot day again. Get outside, do something, have some fun. we get to our takeaways from you on the show, something that stayed in your brain about the show. We love that because we know what stays in our brain about the show, but when we find out what stays in your brain, and hopefully you share the show with somebody because that moment stayed in your brain, that's a great thing. That's a wonderful thing. We just increase the community that we are right now. I'm not trying to get too philosophical. I'm just saying we love you for that. So, takeaways. Case, what do you got?
630 checked in their takeaway, all caps, down with Big Scooter. That's right.
Big Scooter got a message today.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
A shot across the bow, if you will.
This will be remembered in history books if there are history books in the future.
There won't be.
Kenzie, what do you got?
Marshall's takeaway, saying your mom's a whore can weaken a relationship, but a multi-million-dollar sports contract can strengthen it. Amen.
Facts.
It's true.
Yep.
It's true.
And finally, Frank's takeaway. Scars are cool unless you got it from a scooter. All right, what's on the podcast, Case? Busy day.
Yeah, we talked about Big Scooter, the new laws in Elk Grove Village, among other places, about where and when you can ride your scooter, how fast you can go. And Brian and Kenzie are going to, I think, be known as the anti-scooter show from now on. Again, a message was sent to Big Scooter. Also, this morning, Kenzie admitted to throwing an iron at someone's head.
Hey!
If you want full context for that story, it lives on the Brian and Kenzie podcast. And it's Tuesday, so there's a new clash with Kenzie. And new Kenzie's Crimes. And there was a clash with Kenzie today where there's never been more on the line. Not only did this person want sold-out Weird Al Yankovic tickets, but Kenzie may or may not have had her family tied up in a basement as she was playing Clash with Kenzie. So big
Kenzie. A lot of allegations today.
Big Kenzie day on the podcast. We should throw an iron at somebody's head. Kenzie's Crimes. Big Scooter. There's a lot going on.
Kenzie never thought, when she started Kenzie's Crimes, that she would be on it. She'd be the subject
I thought that. That's not true.
So make sure you go back to the podcast anytime you want to hear us. It could be 11 at night. It could be 4 in the morning before we start the show at 6. Anytime you want, it's right there waiting for you. It's beautiful.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning, and Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.